Hello, my name is Spencer Hart-Thompson, and today I'm going to be showing you how I composed my song, Flowers, using Sibelius. So we're going to start with a blank slate, and we're going to add our harp first, because that's going to be the backbone of the piece. And then you right-click and go through the selection to find the title. I'm going to be showing you the intro, and verse, and chorus sections of the song. And in order to add notations, normally you're going to use the keypad, but for the beginning, use the notations tab on top, and then you can just choose your time signature, or you can select all, and then same thing for the time signature and key signature. And then once you have both of those set up, to type in each individual note, and it's going to keep all of the note durations consistent. And same thing here, you're going to drop it by an octave, you're going to use the down arrow. You're going to add your durations through this. These have straight quarter notes, so it's going to be pretty easy for this section. And then I can just copy and paste it into the next section. And then I'm going to add tempo using that right click once again. And once I played it through, I figured that I wanted to add staccato notes, so I can use shift to select all and add the staccato notes. And then I'm going to add my string quartet, make instrument to the score. And then you can move those instruments up and down on the score. I prefer to have my quartet above the harp, but that's just personal preference. It can be either way. And this bass line is going to repeat over and over. You're going to use Command-Shift-B to add more bars, and then just select and copy and paste. That's going to be our intro for just the harp, and then this is where the intro starts using that string quartet. These have all the same durations. They come off the beat. And so copy and paste is going to be your best friend in this case, rather than trying to input each individual note in each individual rest. You can just copy and paste and use the arrows if you know the harmonies already. And this will happen for the first 3 bars, and then there's a slight change. So I'm just adding those notes individually, but you can go back and do that retroactively. And then there's a slight change here, and so I'm just using these notes, copy and pasting them into the next section, and to make it a little bit easier. Same thing here. Once you copy and paste them, you can just move them around, add the accidentals as needed. And the next section is just going to reference that harp. And so it's going to be taking that harp and adding some harmonies, and adding some depth in that sound between the harp and the first violin. I'm finishing off this section, so this is the end of the first verse. And to stack chords, you can just press shift and then add each individual note in the chord. This will be the bass line for the chorus in the harp. There's kind of a cool interchange between the left and right hands, as it were. And then once I finish that off, I'm going to add the vocal line, and this will be in baritone solo, so I'm adding that instrument as well. Once you've written that first line, for me, that melody basically just repeats itself, and then I use the up and down arrow to modify it to my liking for the change of the phrase in the written melody. In order to add a triplet, you do have to use note input again, and then I'm just adding each individual note for this section. And then to add lyrics, use Command K, and you can type in those lyrics. If the word is multisyllabic, then you can use a dash. If you're doing the same word on multiple pitches, then you can just continue to press the space bar. For this case, that sound is going to be over multiple pitches. And then you're going to use Command E to add expressions. So in this case, it'll be dynamics. And then you can just type in those dynamics. Make sure those dynamics are going somewhere. So if it's crescendoing from one thing to another, you want to make sure that that crescendo leads somewhere, or else it will be really hard to read for the performer. I want this section to stick out, coming back down to the mezzo forte. This is our chorus section, and we want to make it kind of a different character, not just in the pitches, but also in those expressions. Once you have that set up, this is what your score is going to look like. And you can type in your composer name, and you can press M for the mixer, and then you'll have your entire score ready to go. As you can see, some of these lines aren't perfectly set up, so if you just drag and pull in order to line things up, like this last section here doesn't really line up across the board. It'll make it a little bit easier to read if the spacing is similar. so you're not jumping from one line to another. Once you have that all set up, it should be easy to read and ready to go. And that's exactly what I did. I finished my song at CFA's Composers Concert in the CFA Concert Hall. I showed my piece, Flowers. This is the first 3 sections of that piece, and I hope you enjoy.
1, 2, 3, 4. I bought you flowers on the day you broke my heart. They sat for hours, days and weeks until they fell apart. And you'll never know how much those flowers meant to me. 'Cause you would lie and say that we were always meant to be. Oh, the flowers, they'll never mean the same to you anyway.